Go.
Hi, my name is Riana Conway, and today I will be presenting on animal abuse. More specifically, I'll be presenting on the animal abuse that takes place in the animal agricultural industry. To start, I'd like to state a fact from Compassion in World Farming. 7 billion farm animals are reared for food in the world each year, and about 2 out of 3 of these animals are reared in a factory farm. In the United States alone, 99% of animals are reared in a factory farm. And you may be asking what exactly is a factory farm, and that's what this video will show you. This video was recently released by an undercover worker for the Animal Recovery Mission, and he was an undercover worker in the Fairlife dairy industries, and this was the footage that he released. So some of the images are disturbing, and the reason for that is I felt that I could only explain so much with words. Images like this do a lot more to, I guess, evoke something in people to want change. And that's exactly what happened. This video went viral all over social media, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, and I saw so many people reposting this to their stories out of the anger they had towards what they saw. And today I have some more solutions that people may want to use to advocate for these animals. So these animals are no less intelligent than the ones that we domesticate, like the dogs and cats that we love. They're capable of feelings, emotions, and they don't deserve any less treatment than we give those domesticated animals. They deserve to be treated as humanely and respectfully as possible up until their slaughter and through their slaughter. So if you were angered by that video, and if you're angered like me for the treatment that these animals receive, then consider following these solutions. But first I'd like to start with my own personal story of coming to want to advocate for animal rights. So it started when I was in high school and just searching around on Netflix, and I wanted to watch some documentaries, so I found Forklings and Forks Over Knives. And these two documentaries are actually about animal cruelty that I found out, and surprisingly had much more disturbing and shocking images than this. And I guess that's the point I'm trying to get across, is that I did my own research first and found out things like, according to a case study conducted by the University of Michigan, animals of the meat, egg, and dairy industries are excluded from the Federal Animal Welfare Act. Additionally, birds that are raised for meat and dairy comprise more than 95% of the land-based animals slaughtered and are not covered under the Methods of Livestock Slaughter Act, or HMLSA. So basically these animals just have no protections whatsoever. PETA, the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, state that the animals are kept in closed and confined conditions. Specifically, chickens are kept so close that they can't even move. And then pigs and other livestock are kept so enclosed that they are basically living in their own feces up until slaughter. So after hearing some of those facts and finding more about what goes on in these factory farms, I wanted to, start implementing some of these solutions that you'll see in my own life, and they are. Exactly what I did to start was just to start by educating yourself. Do your own research. Don't turn a blind eye to the horrific images because they're there and you can't ignore them. And frankly, you wouldn't want to. As a consumer, it's your responsibility to consume products that are healthy for you and good for your body. And the way these animals are raised, most of them have disease by the time they are slaughtered, just from the conditions that they're raised in. Another solution would be to try Meatless Monday, or any day of the week you prefer. Just incorporating a meatless meal into your meals, trying a vegetable option, trying tofu, trying veggie burgers if you're open to it. Really just any way to, just one meatless meal is all it takes to start maybe feeling like you might want to do two, or you might feel good after trying something like that. And there are actually health benefits associated with it as well. So according to an article from the Public Health Nutrition Journal, meat consumption in the U.S. exceeds healthy levels by 20 to 60%. Excess consumption of meat leads to health conditions such as heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, obesity, and some cancers. So trying to incorporate some meatless meals would also be beneficial to your health, as well as combating the atrocities that you see in factory farms. Third, I have looked for labels like certified humane and animal welfare approved. These labels look like this, and they have a red check mark or an orange check mark in the corner, and that means that they have the most strictest regulations that they fall in terms of treating animals humanely. So that would mean better or let out in fields or raised in fields, fed properly, given enrichment indoors, no cages, slaughtered humanely, stuff like that. And the ASPCA actually warns against labels such as USDA organic, cage-free and natural, or humanely treated, because these labels are actually held to a much lower standard than these labels here that actually confirm the proper treatment of animals before their slaughter. And then our fourth solution was try some dairy alternatives like nut milks and butters. They're great tasting and low calorie. And again, they would have similar health benefits to the ones you saw for meat consumption, because similarly associated, some dairy products can lead to things like cardiovascular disease, cancer. So you just want to lessen your consumption. I'm not asking you to restrict your diet in any way, but just make a conscious effort to incorporate some of these alternatives in, and it'd be a great way to also not only help your health, but to help combat those atrocities that you saw in the factory farms. And then the last solution is petition the government and our legislators. They are the ones that can enact change. Right now, the FDA and USDA do not have regulations set in place where they can, no one knows which one has the power to even start setting these certain regulations. And obviously the acts I stated are from 1973. This is old legislature that these animals are all protected under, so-called protected under. So we need to also start by voicing our opinions and our distaste towards the animal agricultural industry and how it conducts itself. So, to sum everything up, we should try out Meatless Mondays, educate ourselves, try some dairy alternatives as well, petition our government, and just be wary and vigilant of the labels that we see when we're shopping as consumers. So that could all help contribute to our saying that we want change in this area, saying that we want better animal cruelty laws, especially for animals of the animal agriculture industry. So here's a video on a bit of a more positive note, and this is how the ethical treatment of animals should be. These animals were saved from a factory farm, and now they get to live their life in a farm sanctuary. And it's just them being released of that life that they lived in the factory farm. And that's just the more ethical treatment of them. So thank you for listening,